Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County's virtual programs. My name is Mary, and I'm one of the education specialists. The video I'm sharing with you today is going to highlight the differences in our waste to energy facilities. So just to give you a little bit of background on the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County, we're the local government agency that was established in 1975 to deal with all the county's waste. We are the largest county in Florida size-wise, and population-wise, we're third. We have about 1.4 million people living here, and on average, each day, every person produces about 12 pounds of waste. If you do that math, it ends up equaling about 17 million pounds of waste that we have to deal with every single day. And one of the ways we do that is in our waste to energy facilities. So this video, like I mentioned, is going to highlight the differences between our two facilities that we have. This first facility is Renewable Energy Facility 1. And this building was opened in 1989. So we've been burning trash since 1989. At that point, we were burning about 50% of all the trash in Palm Beach County, which meant that 50% was still going to our landfill. And at that point, our landfills were scheduled to be closed by the year 2020. So we ended up building Renewable Energy Facility 2, which opened in 2015, and now we burn about 93% of all the trash. So there's a couple of differences between these two facilities. One main difference is Renewable Energy Facility 1 is what we called refuse-derived fuel. Renewable Energy Facility 2 is a mass burn facility. So the insides are going to look a little different. So in Renewable Energy 1, we have the tipping floor. And in the back here, you're going to see an excavator. So the tractor trailers that are leaving our transfer stations, we have 6 of them around the county, come up to Renewable Energy Park, and they're told whether to go to Renewable Energy Facility 1 or 2. If they come to 1, they will dump their material onto the tipping floor, and then you'll see that excavator taking that material and loading it onto conveyor belts. And those conveyor belts are bringing it to the flail mill or the shredder. So what is happening here is we're processing the fuel beforehand. That's why it's called refuse-derived fuel. So we take out things like metals. We use a magnet to remove our ferrous metals, which are iron or steel, for example, and we take an eddy system current, which is going to remove the aluminum material, the non-ferrous materials. This part over here is called the trommel. That trommel is sorting out very small material, stuff that's less than 2 inches in size. Things like glass, dirt, sand, grit, all that stuff that we don't want, stuff that's not good material to burn. And one of the fun facts here is since we're processing this fuel beforehand and taking things out like those metals, we actually recover about $100,000 worth of coins every single year from this facility. So once that material is sorted through and processed, it moves over to the fuel storage building where you'll see that front end loader taking the material and setting it into the boilers. Now we're going to talk about the control room a little bit. And in this control room, this is where we have our engineers sitting, and they are monitoring thousands of points of data constantly. So things like temperature, pressure, steam, our air pollution control systems. That's what they're looking at to make sure everything is working properly. So then we move to inside our boiler. And Renewable Energy Facility 1 has 2 boilers, where Renewable Energy Facility 2 has 3 boilers. And inside every boiler, there's a series of pipes lining the wall or tubes carrying water. And this fire burns really hot, and the whole purpose is to create steam. So that water heats up inside those pipes, creating steam, and it's sent to our turbine and generators where we produce our electricity. And we, between the two facilities, we produce enough electricity to power about 70 to 75,000 homes. And what you're looking at right now is the transformer or switchyard where we take that electricity and send it back to utilities, out to the power grid, and eventually to your homes. FP&L will distribute that to your homes. The next part of this facility we're going to talk about is another difference between Renewable Energy 1 and 2 is this water-cooled condenser. So we are the greenest facilities in North America, and what we try to do with the steam is to cool it back down into water so we can use it back in our facilities. So in Renewable Energy 1, we have a water-cooled condensing system. So we're going to take water and cool down that steam, turn it back into more water, and pump it back into our facilities so we can use it over again. The next part is our air pollution control equipment. So this is a really cool shot because you can see our stack here. That stack is about 240 feet tall at Renewable Energy Facility 1. And you'll notice there's no plumes of smoke coming out of it. And that's because of our state-of-the-art air pollution control systems. So we have a couple of different ways that we're dealing with all of that burning trash. One of the first things we're going to do is inject something called powder activated carbon, and that's to neutralize mercury. The next thing that we have here are called spray dry absorbers. And you'll notice also that there's two of them. So for each boiler, every boiler has its own set of air pollution control equipment. So these are the two spray dry absorbers, and that's where we insert a lime slurry. And that lime slurry is going to neutralize acid gases such as sulfur oxides. One of the next steps that we have here are baghouse filters. They act kind of like vacuums. If you've ever been around a campfire and you have that particulate matter flying off of it, those ashes flying off of it, you don't want that being emitted into the atmosphere. So those baghouses collect that particulate matter so we're not emitting that. And the last step is something called a selective non-catalytic reductive system, and that's going to remove our nitrogen oxides. So this one in this facility is non-catalytic. In Renewable Energy Facility 2, it's catalytic. And that's pretty much the only differences between our air pollution control systems in these two buildings. So now we're going to move on to Renewable Energy Facility 2. And you're going to get to see some of the really cool construction videos from this facility. So this was opened in 2015. We started building it in 2012. It is the newest and greenest facility in North America. And this is our time-lapse video of it going up. That's Renewable Energy 1 behind it. This is our stack for Renewable Energy 2 being built. This stack ends up being 320 feet tall, and it went up in 7-foot sections. So the first thing we built here though for this facility was the pit, because that's the largest part of this facility. Over here you can see a 2 million gallon water cistern, which I'll talk about. Our education center, this is part of that air cooled condensing system where we cool that steam back down. And this building over here is ash management. When we burn trash, we're left with a lot of ash that we need to deal with and process before we can landfill it. So this building was completed in 2015, and the whole project cost about $672 million to complete. So now that rainwater collection tank, again, this one is 2 million gallons, and we collect all the rainwater from our roofs at our facilities, so we can use it in our facilities. You don't want us using groundwater to create this electricity. So we collect that rainwater, we treat it in our water treatment building, and we are able to use that in our facilities. This is the construction of our air pollution control systems. Difference between these and the ones at Renewable Energy 1, these are all inside. The ones at Renewable Energy 1 were outside. Ash management, that's where we're dealing with that ash that's left over from burning. And this is just one of the pictures of that spray dry absorber, which is part of that air pollution control. So our refuse pit, this is where all that trash ends up going. So it looks a little bit different than Renewable Energy Facility 1. This is our tipping floor over here. And remember in Renewable Energy Facility 1, you saw all that trash piled up on the tipping floor. So this is going to be a little bit different because this is a mass burn facility. We don't process that trash beforehand. So those tractor trailers that are leaving the transfer stations are going to come in, and they are going to push that material right into the pit where we're going to deal with it. So here you see one of those tractor trailers driving up, and this is Renewable Energy 1, this is Renewable Energy 2 right here. They drive up into the tipping floor area, and they will back right up to the edge of the pit. That wall is 40 feet deep, and they will push that material out with something called a walking floor mechanism. So that way they don't have to tip up or anything. Then from our control room, you have our claw operators operating any of the 3 claws that we have, and each of those claws can hold up to about 9 tons of trash. That is the size of a T-Rex dinosaur. And again, in our control room, those engineers are looking at all that data coming in from temperature, pressure, air pollution. They are managing everything that's happening in this building. So those cranes will mix and fluff this trash. because it's been compacted in our tractor trailers and it's probably a little wet. We have a pretty wet environment here, so and the whole purpose is to burn this material. So dry stuff burns better than wet materials. So these claws are going to fluff that trash. They're going to dry it out a little bit, and they're going to look for a good mix of that 9 tons. And when they get a good mix of that 9 tons, they will bring it over to the top of this wall over here. This wall is about 100 feet deep. And along the top of this wall is the entrance to our 3 boilers, our hoppers. So those claws will bring that material over to the hoppers and slowly drop that material into one of the 3 boilers. Each boiler processes about 1,000 tons of waste a day. So in this facility, Renewable Energy 2, we are processing about 3,000 tons of trash a day. Renewable Energy 1, we're processing about 2,000 tons of waste per day. So same thing, the boilers are lined with those tubes carrying water. That water heats up, turns into steam, and it's sent through a series of pipes into our turbine and our generator room. So in this room, this over here is the turbine. That steam is going to turn the blades in the turbine, and it goes through a rotor into our generator where we are generating that electricity. Again, we are producing enough electricity to power about 70 to 75,000 homes. And this is a picture of that air-cooled condenser. So it's a little bit different than that water-cooled condenser. Here we have 15 of these very large fans that are 36 feet across. And the steam passes over the top of those fans, cools off, and is turned back into water. And we treat that water, pumped right back into our facilities so we can use it again. Next, you're going to see our air pollution control equipment. So remember, all this equipment at this facility is indoors, but we have the same stuff for the most part. We use that powder activated carbon to neutralize the mercury. We have those spray dry absorbers where we insert a lime slurry to neutralize those sulfur oxides. Then we have those baghouse filters to get rid of the particulate matter. And we also have that selective catalytic reductive system to get rid of your nitrogen oxides. So the last step is dealing with that ash. When we burn trash, we have lots of ash left over. So that gets transported on these ash conveyor belts over to our ash management building, where we will take out those metals that didn't burn. Your ferrous metals with a big magnet will take out those non-ferrous metals, again, like aluminum with a eddy system current, and then we will recycle those metals. And you can see some of those big pieces there that are left over that will be taken out and processed separately. So that is pretty much Renewable Energy Facility 2, and that was a lovely picture of our education center. If you all have any questions about this, please feel free. You can type them in the comment box below again, or you can shoot us an email at education@swa.org and we'll get back to you. Please check our website also at swa.org/education to see the rest of this week's upcoming educational programs. Hope you guys enjoyed and hope you have a great day.